Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? My name's Craig Otto. I'm a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt. Today we're going to start part 4 of my White Belt training series. My intentions are to provide basic insights and provide understanding of operational excellence for those that are just starting out on your journey. This is actually the 7th video of this series. I like to do a training piece followed by a follow-up. So we've had parts 1, 2, and 3. And then we also had part 1 follow-up, part 2 follow-up, part 3 follow-up. So that's why I say we're in the 7th video here as we get ready to start part 4. All right, so we're going to start out discussing everything again. I always try to tie it back to the Otto model because it shows how the principles meet the customer needs. And in that middle, that diamond, is kind of how the transformational process works. In the first few videos, we learned that the importance of personal transformation, right? By anchoring our personal choices to those guiding principles there down at the bottom, that orange diamond anchored into those guiding principles. Then we discussed individual behaviors that are necessary for achieving operational excellence. That's driven from those choices. And then the last few weeks, we've been seeing the role of operational behavior, right? That's also anchored into the choices and from the individual behaviors. And that sets up the plan, and the execution gets ready to execute to the point for operational excellence. All right, so as you can see there in our little diamond, that operational behavior really is what drives the results of the business, and that's really what we're going to dig into today. We're finally going to start seeing how the execution of improvement tools along with the operational behavior lead to business results. All right, so let's go ahead, and if you want to pay attention to the right side there, as usual in my videos, I'm going to talk about the operational transformation, and I'm going to start with structure. Again, we talked about why structure of the organization matters in the past few videos, especially when it comes to executing the business strategy. We learned about value stream analysis, or what we called VSAs, and how they change, or how they make that plan for transformational change. So now we're going to discuss, from that, again, the event-based structure, all right, and something we learned from last time is we had a VSA action plan. That action plan identified what was called rapid improvement events. And that's what we're going to learn about today, is a rapid improvement event, or RIE. Okay. Now this rapid improvement event, the purpose is to take that action plan and make it reality, right? That VSA action plan that we talked about in video 3. It's to make that reality. Okay, we do that through rapid change to the value stream. It means that we're executing the plan to get those results, and that's why you can see the results at the top of the model are reflected, in the business results, but they're also reflected in the organization's ability to meet those customer needs. That's why we call it True North. True North is our customer needs. Okay. So, and then as I mentioned, executing for results. So now I want to talk about value stream analysis, right? That's the hierarchical type of event that we talked about in video 3 and then video 3 follow-up. VSA creates the plan, right, for 2 types of events. We call the first event a rapid improvement event, and the second one is a problem-solving corrective action event. The RIE is an event where the waste is eliminated, okay? And that's, again, what we're going to talk about today. And then the problem-solving corrective action, or PSCA, is used to eliminate variation or flow stoppers. Again, sometimes we call them PSCAs. I've also called them quality blitzes in the past as well. All right, so let's deep dive into this tool of rapid improvement. Okay, rapid improvement event. What does that mean? Well, here you can see my little RIE bulldozer. It has some symbols in that dozer. Those symbols represent what we call the lean core tools. It's not all the tools, just 4 core tools. But before I discuss those, I want to kind of discuss the process of a rapid improvement event. So the first thing that we'll do in a rapid improvement event is lean training. That's where we learn about how to identify waste, how to eliminate it, what are the tools to do such. And again, this event-based culture is all about training. That's why we do events. Down the road, 3 to 5 years down the road, you may not need to do events anymore because people are trained up. They do improvement as part of their jobs. That's what we're trying to get to. The next thing we do is observe the current state and go to the Gemba to identify waste. So even though you have a plan identified with the VSA where you observe current state, you need to go revisit that. Go to where the work is done. That's the Gemba, where the work is done. And re-identify that waste. Make sure it's still there. And then also verify the spaghetti diagram. Again, that's how we see the waste visually. We want to verify that. Now, once you do that and you have a good handle of where the waste is, now you can start using those lean core tools to eliminate the waste and execute the plan that you identified. And then after you eliminate the waste and reduce the waste, you can do what's called a trial run to verify that you made the improvements that you expected. And then also eliminate any flow stoppers that may have come up. And then, of course, lastly, you want to measure that improvement, you want to document it, and then you want to report out on those improvements and really celebrate, what you've achieved with the leadership of your business. All right, and again, these 4 core tools, I'll run through these at a high level very quickly. You can see from the bulldozer, I have 4 little symbols there. The first symbol, I refer to that as 6S. We'll learn about what that is here shortly. The next one, one-piece flow. This is a principle just as much as it is a tool. The idea is focus on one thing at a time, get it done, and move it to the next step of the process. The next one is standard work. What that means is it helps you keep the improvement locked in. In other words, if you're kind of moving all over the place because you don't have a consistent process, you can't improve it. So the idea with standard work is you lock in those gains by standardizing that process and keeping it documented. And then the last one is pull systems. Again, it ties it back to the customer demand. We know that if you overproduce, if you make more than what the customer needs, that's waste. So the idea is you have a pull system within your business where you have a minimal amount of inventory, not zero inventory, but a certain amount to help keep you successful, but at the same time doesn't tie up all of your cash flow. So those are the core tools. Now I want to dive into 6S specifically, and I want to talk about how do you implement that. 6S, the first S is sort. What you're doing here is removing anything that is not used in your workspace. It could be any kind of extra items, but again, distance is the enemy. We've learned that in the past. So any extra items there will create distance, and we'll see that in some of the exercises that we do. The next one is straighten. And again, the sequence matters here. The first thing you do is sort. The next thing you do is straighten. Straighten is about organizing the items that you do need, get them organized, the tools, the materials, equipment that needs to be organized in a manner based on the amount of use. In other words, if you use it all the time, you want it close to you. If you use it once a day, it can be a little bit farther away. If you use it once a week, it can be even farther away. So that's the idea, is the more you use it, the closer it should be, because that drives down distance. Now, shine, that's about making sure that your workplace is clean, and it's also about visual management. Your workplace should speak to you. You need to be able to recognize something normal from abnormal so that you can make problems visible. The fourth S is to improve ergonomics, reduce burden, ensure safety, and all that's done. This is something that we consciously try to do throughout all of our processes. So even sometimes when we're improving something, that could create risk that is unintended. So that's why we always keep safety in there, so that we're always kind of assessing, okay, even though we think we made this better, maybe it did something where it hurt our ergonomics, right? Or it created a different type of burden. So we always got to tie it back to safety. Standardize, making sure that after you do it, you have a regular routine to repeat these first 4 S's. In other words, you may clean out your garage in the spring, by the end of summer, what happens? Your garage gets messy again, right? So unless you repeat this process daily, weekly, monthly, whatever that routine needs to be, it'll go back to the way it always was. So that's why you got to repeat this for first four S's on a regular basis. And then the last one is sustain, which is about establishing that external source to kind of monitor the sustainment and create that accountability. So that is the 6S process. Again, order matters, follow the sequence. All right, so now I want to tie, again, 6S to the purpose of it. Like, what is the purpose of 6S? So when we sort and straighten, that is where we're actually eliminating the physical distance, right? So that's where the waste elimination comes from. The shine is about eliminating that mental distance, okay? That, you know, the workplace speaks to you, right? That's a mental thing. It makes you think faster because the area is shine and it's clean and you can see normal from abnormal. Safety is about eliminating risk. Standardize and sustain is the countermeasure to the second law of thermodynamics. Again, the second law of thermodynamics says that everything proceeds towards chaos, gets worse over time. Standardize and sustain are put in place. The purpose of that is to counteract that. We want to counteract that law. We know it's a law, so it's going to happen. So by redoing the first four S's, that's how we counteract it, through these S's. Okay? And then I also like to always tie back to principles because that tells us why each step is most important, right? Sort and straighten, again, that's systematically removing waste. That's the principle behind those first two S's. The shine, that's how you get immediate problem recognition so that you can stop the flow stoppers, right? We want to create flow and value. So shine helps us recognize those problems immediately. That's the principle. Safety, it's about respect of each individual, right? We care about our people. We do not want them in harm's way. We want them going home in the same condition, if not better, than when they came in, right? Respecting every individual. That's what safety is about. And then standardize and sustain is about that routine of excellence for standardize, and then the cadence of accountability for this sustain, right? It has to be a cadence of accountability because the second law of thermodynamics is always working against us, right? So we got to keep that accountability there on a regular basis. That's why it says cadence. All right, so now what we're going to do is go into the home here. I'm going to do a 6S and waste elimination exercise with my kids, and hopefully that'll help you start to see some of the concepts of why distance is so important and why 6S focuses on eliminating that distance and that waste of motion. So let's go ahead and take a look. Ready?
Yeah.
Hey everyone, so today we're going to do an activity. This is something I do a lot with the groups that I work with. We're going to use this activity to learn about waste as well as 6S. One of the things that we want to watch for is if you remember the acronym downtime. That lists out the 8 different wastes. We're going to look for those today, and then we're also going to run several iterations of a process where you want to think about 6S as well, the tool 6S, and how you can use it to eliminate the waste. The process that we're going to use today is I'm going to have my kids volunteer here. There's going to be 4 of them, and they're going to pass a ball around, and that's the process. Each one of my children add their own particular set of value to it. So it's a transfer, and we're going to start with one of my kids, and whoever it starts with, it has to end with. So they'll pass it around, and then we'll talk through each iteration about the waste that we see and also the improvements that they make. What tool did they use as part of 6S? So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so for this activity, the kids know what they're supposed to do. What I'm going to do is time how long it takes, because we always capture the current state time to see if we're improving. So when I say go, you're going to go ahead and start passing the ball. Okay, and we'll talk about it afterwards. All right, so go ahead. Better go get it.
That hurt.
Better go get it. Okay. So that took 10 seconds. Okay, it took 10 seconds. If you think about the waste, some of the things that we've seen would have been transporting the ball, right? The distance. We had a defect, right? We had someone drop the ball. That would be considered like a defect waste. And I'm sure there's many other wastes that we've seen in there as well. So now what we want to do is make improvements. And one of the things that we talk about is 6S. And the first S is sort. You'll notice that we're not utilizing the couch. One of the reasons is because we're in the process of moving. So it's this is not normal, but it is reality, and I thought I'd take advantage of it. So this creates distance, right? This is not something that we need in order to do this process. And so since this creates distance when we sort, that means we eliminate that factor. Now, you kids don't have to clean this up. I'll clean that up later. But you guys have never really been trained on this. Maybe you know it already. What do you think will help make this go faster?
Throwing it faster.
Throw it faster. So, and that's something that a lot of people talk about is they think I have to work harder. How would you guys work smarter though? Do you guys think if you threw it faster, would it actually be faster, or do you think we would drop the ball?
Drop it.
You drop it? Yeah, I agree. So what do you guys think we can do to make it go faster?
Focus.
Focus, all right. Anything else? Is there anything? So there's nothing special about where you're sitting. You don't have to sit there, right? Is there anything else that you think would make it go faster? Do you have to keep sitting in your spots?
We could stand up.
You could stand up, right? Anything else?
You could try and move closer.
You could try to move closer. So that's one of the things with the 6S tool with straighten is to reduce distance. And that's a great suggestion. So why don't you guys stand up and do what Nathan suggested. Let's move closer.
Can't move much closer.
Up. Tenley can't move much closer. Okay. So do you guys think this will be faster?
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. Well, let's try it out. We'll give this a shot. This will be our second trial. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and try it again. Go ahead. Okay, so this time we still had one defect towards the end, right? But it's still, what do you guys think the time was this time? Last time it was 10 seconds.
3 seconds.
It was 4 seconds this time. So you guys made huge improvements just by reducing distance. So again, I'm going to challenge you guys. How are you going to reduce it by half? Make it take 2 seconds. How would you do that?
We could get closer to each other.
Get closer, okay? So Tenley, she's in a place where she has something in front of her. This is where in the sort tool with 6S, you would just eliminate this. So come on around here. So when you eliminate what is not needed, it allows everyone to be closer. So go ahead and get closer, all right? You guys act like you're siblings and you love each other or something, right? All right, we ready to see if we got better?
Yeah.
All right, 1 second. I gotta get my stopwatch ready. Okay, whenever you're ready. 2 seconds, look at this. And we didn't have any defects this time, right? All right, now I'm gonna get crazy. How can you cut it down to 1 second?
Get even closer.
Get even closer. Get even closer, right? Now let's talk about what we're doing. We're eliminating waste. They keep saying getting closer. We talk about distance being the enemy. Distance creates time, and so by them saying we got to get closer, they're driving that waste out of the process, that waste of motion. So is there anything else that you guys want to do while you're this close? Is there anything that could you have your hands ready maybe?
Yeah, be prepared.
Be prepared, okay. So we have a quick setup so that we're ready to go. All right, and get my stopwatch ready. All right, when you're ready. 1 second, that is amazing. Okay, this will be the last round. How do you think you could drive out even more time.
Put all of our hands on each other, just flip it over.
Yeah. So is there anything else? How about, because this is your last chance.
Go a little faster.
Well, you're talking about working harder again, right? Yep. We don't want to work harder. We want to work smarter. Is there anything that you could utilize, a resource maybe, that would make it go even faster, but not make you work harder? You guys think gravity would help you at all?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Like if we
Could you
all
make like a little
dropped it and we all
ramp?
touched it, like
Right.
that.
Can you make like a little ramp almost?
Okay.
What do you think? So
Yeah,
Temple would have to hold the ball
okay,
up
okay.
here, right, and hold
You're at the
her
top.
hand
You're at
out
the top.
at the bottom, right?
Or using
So
one.
we only need one hand.
What are you doing? You guys are going downhill. Okay. Put your
Okay.
hand in there.
That's not.
So on the camera, we'll go ahead and show you guys in a little bit what they're doing once they get
No,
ready.
and you'd be right there. So it's boom, 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 and then something.
No, that's.
How are you gonna get it right there?
And notice the arguing, that's called storming. That is a natural process of when people start working together.
It's your hands.
Oh,
Like a ramp. My bad.
All right, are we ready? This will be the last chance.
So we have to catch it. I'm not gonna catch it.
Okay, here we go. You ready? Go ahead.
I can catch it. What?
So 0.6 seconds. Thank you guys. You guys can sit down. So what the kids did is they eventually made like a ramp utilizing a resource, right? They weren't utilizing gravity. That's a free resource and it helps you be more effective. And by using gravity, it's also cost effective. Just like you go to the grocery store, you go to get milk, you pull it out, what happens? The rest slide down the ramp. There's not a person behind there restocking it, so it saves time. It's creativity for capital. Notice how we went from 10 seconds all the way down to 0.6 seconds. That's huge improvement by focusing on reducing waste and reducing that distance. That was the common thing. How can we reduce distance? Because we know that's what reduces time. Did you guys work harder so when you guys first did it, right? Do you think you worked harder the first time or the last time?
The last time, making
The
the
first
ramp.
time.
The ramp was a little bit more difficult, wasn't it? How about the second to last time? Do you guys feel like you worked harder there or the first time?
The first time.
The first time, right? So that's an example of you guys working smarter, not harder, right? Because when you work harder, you guys know what happens?
It takes longer.
Well, it takes longer because you might have defects and rework, right? You have to redo it again. Why else? Could someone get hurt, you think, by trying to rush?
Yeah.
Going too fast?
You could mess up.
Yep. So that's the another S of 6S is safety. We always want to make sure that we're being safe while doing the work. So hopefully everyone enjoyed the little demonstration that we did. I think it really helps show how powerful it is to reduce waste and also how powerful the tool of 6S truly is. And we'll keep learning more and see how we can apply it to our example with marinating chicken. Until next time, thanks. All right, welcome back. So hopefully that gave you some perspective, and that's a nice little exercise that anyone can do to kind of learn about 6S and the waste within a process. It's something that you can do. It's fun. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and it really ties into that distance being the enemy. It like really shows, as you could see from the results, going from the 10 seconds down to, the smaller amount of time to the 0.6 seconds. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just kind of review again that rapid improvement cycle, right? That sequence. So as we discussed, it's about training, right? Making sure the employees understand what lean is, the waste, the tools to eliminate that waste, and then going out and observing the current state, right? Making sure that the waste you identified in your VSA is still accurate. Then we go and verify the spaghetti diagram, right? That visual picture of the waste. And then it's actually about the execution, taking that tool, that 6S tool, and eliminating waste, right? Applying it. And then the other tools do the same thing, but I'm using 6S as sort of the heart of it because that is a tool that you can apply to almost anything to get waste removed. So I really like Success. And then just like we did in the little trial there, we with the kids reduced their waste, and then each time we did a trial. You want to do that same trial in the office, on the shop floor, wherever you're making changes. That way you verify the expected improvements, and then that'll also help identify any flow stoppers that you might see. And then, of course, as always, measure, document, and report, and celebrate those successes. So this concludes part 4 of my training. Again, this is about the rapid improvement events, and that's really where the rubber meets the road. It's truly where that improvement is made. It's the execution tool, if you will. So for video 4 follow-up, we're gonna, get deep into that Success tool and actually go into the kitchen and implement 3 different RIEs, or rapid improvement events. And then in video 5, we'll see the impact made from those rapid improvement events on that chicken marination example, and kind of see how much we saved by implementing lean. And then of course, I always look forward to seeing you next time. Please, if you had feedback, give me that feedback, comments, suggestions. I will try to incorporate that into my training. As always, thanks for listening. Please subscribe to my videos, please like my videos and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, God bless you.